Welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to take you through a process to understand your mind, understand your thoughts, and ultimately calm your mind down so you can have more peace. Let's dive in. Imagine that there's a bird and he's flying around and he's free and he's soaring through the air. There's nothing in his way. It's amazing. And then one day he's like, I'm going to take a break. And he comes down, he finds a nice little lake to sit on. Lands on this nice calm lake and he's enjoying it. And he enjoys that it's calm, it's tranquil. And decides, you know what, this is a peaceful lake. Like, I'm going to stay here. So he stays there for a little while and he ends up staying there for so long that he forgets that he can fly. And so what happens is he forgets that he can fly. He's been resting on the water for such a long time that he begins to start thinking that he can't leave the lake. And because of the fact that he can't leave the lake, he starts to identify with the lake, with the lake. And he forgets that one time, he used to fly. He forgets that he could literally fly away right now. And this bird that was, is still capable of flight has become a creature of the water, right? It's now like a fish. It is a creature of the water. And it's fine when the water's calm, because when the water's calm, the bird enjoys it. It's nice, it's tranquil, it's peaceful. The sun's out, he can hang out. But when the water gets choppy, the bird struggles. It gets really choppy, the waves go everywhere, it's too windy, gets water in its mouth, and then it fears that it might drown. And it ends up stressing the bird out, of course, because when it's calm, that's amazing. It wants it to be calm all the time. But when it gets a little bit crazy, it stresses the bird out. It ends up making the bird want to control the state of the water, hoping and wanting to control to make sure that it is calm all the time. But it doesn't realize that any attempt that it has to manipulate the water, manipulate the air, manipulate the wind, the waves are completely impossible. And it's even counterproductive if you're being honest. And so a bird cannot control an entire body of water. And so to put effort in to try to control this thing is completely unnecessary. And so what happens is the bird has to remember that it can fly away again. It has to disidentify itself with that lake that it has been on for so long, years maybe. And so when you look at it, I'm going to dive deep in this story and talk a little bit more about it. The story behind the bird is basically a metaphor for our human condition. And specifically, our struggle to maintain a sense of control over our internal state and to try to control our mind. As humans, we think that the things that we think are us. We tend to identify with our mind. We tend to identify with our thoughts. Until we get to a point, hopefully you can get to this point, or you already at this point, where you realize you're not your thoughts. You're the observer of those thoughts. You're like the silent witness behind those thoughts. You are, in other terms, you are the consciousness behind the mind. The same way that the natural state of the lake for the bird, when it's a sunny day, is calm. The same thing is with the mind. The natural state of your mind is calm. Now, you might be sitting there going, there's no freaking way, because my mind is crazy. It's insane. It's all over the place. But I promise you this, the natural state of your mind is calm. When you look at a baby, a newborn baby, even though they cry when they want milk and all that stuff, when their eyes are open and they're sitting there, then their natural state is calm. That is all of our natural states. But we've been programmed to think that we have to do this thing, or we've got to go to the next thing, or we need to succeed, or we need to do this next. The secret to the mind is not trying to control it. It's to stop resisting it and to stop fighting it and to let it do what it's going to do. And eventually it will calm down. It might take 5 minutes, it might take 10 minutes, but eventually it will start to calm down. The more that you fight it, the harder it gets and the longer it persists. Like Alan Watts has this quote that he says, you can't force your mind to be silent. Right? Like, think about that for a second. You can't force your mind to be silent. That would be like trying to smooth ripples in water with a flat iron. Water becomes clear and calms down only when it's left alone. Same as your brain. It becomes clear and calms down only when it's left alone. Not when you're trying to fight it, trying to make it better, trying to make it be different. But when the waves do come in, because the waves are always going to come in at some point in time, they just might not come in as much. Don't identify with them. Let them come through. Let them work through. Don't identify and think that you are those waves. You are those bad thoughts. I am a bad person. Don't identify with them. Take a step back and just allow it to pass. So that's what I got for you for today's episode. If you love this episode, please share it on your Instagram stories. Tag me at Rob Dial Jr., ROBDIALJR. And if you haven't heard in the past few episodes, I have something really special coming out called Mindset Mentor Plus. It is a way to take this podcast and integrate it more into your life. And so there's going to be detailed worksheets, multiple page worksheets with every single podcast episode that comes out so that you can deepen your knowledge around each subject. There's going to be journaling prompts so that you can journal around every single subject and start to work through in your own life. There's going to be assignments for what you could do in your own life as well. So therefore, you're not just a listener of the podcast, but you're a participant of the podcast, and you're integrating everything deeper into your life. There's also going to be exclusive Q&A sessions with me, and there's going to be a whole lot more other bonuses that you're definitely going to love. And the people who sign up first are going to be founding members, and founding members get a discount. And so if that interests you and you want to learn more about it, you can join the waitlist at mindsetwaitlist.com. Once again, it's mindsetwaitlist.com. And we will email you first before we announce it on social media, before I announce it on the podcast, any of that stuff, so that you become a founding member. So with that, I'm going to leave you the same way I leave you every single episode. Make it your mission, make someone else's day better. I appreciate you, and I hope that you have an amazing day.